Mindfulness has become such a buzzword, and after watching this video, you will know what it actually is. Hey everyone, and welcome to Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. I'm Maika, a psychologist, and this channel is dedicated to teaching self-leadership skills so you can live your life to the fullest. Imagine you want to meet someone. You agree on a place, a date, a time, and then when that day comes, they don't show up. Or they do show up, but they're on their phone the whole time. Would you say you really met that person? Or let's say you're doing something you enjoy doing, but then you keep having thoughts like, I'm not good at this. I'm going to embarrass myself. Why do I even try? How much are you going to be able to enjoy that activity if you're on the phone with your mind the whole time, judging if you're good or bad at whatever it is you're doing? Can we expect to be absorbed and experience satisfaction and flow if we're not present in whatever it is we're doing? Can we expect to achieve our goals? Can we expect to really experience life that way? Not really. And there's 3 things that keep us from fully experiencing life. The 3 Ds: distractability, disengagement, and disconnection. Distractability means our mind is easily distracted. It jumps around from one thing to the next. It has a hard time staying with one activity, the one thing we're doing at that moment. Disengagement is when we're physically present in something but mentally absent. We're not really interested in whatever it is we're doing. We're not involved. And disconnection means we don't really know what's going on inside of us. We're disconnected from our thoughts and feelings. And that makes self-leadership really hard because if you don't know what's going on, you can't adapt your actions according to what a situation requires. It's like, how much can I really see if I walk through life with my hands covering my face like this? Not a whole lot. My hands right now represent a mind that is distracted, disengaged, and disconnected. And I can experience life a lot better if I do it with a mind that is clear and present, engaged, and connected. A mind that has a quality that is called being mindful. What is mindfulness? The most popular definition of mindfulness is awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. It's by Kabat-zinn, who has been teaching and studying the benefits and importance of mindfulness since the 1980s. And he's a big part of the reason it's so popular now. So in essence, mindfulness is a certain type of awareness. The term can also refer to the practice that gets us there. The benefits of mindfulness. Studies have shown lots of benefits of mindfulness, like it's been proven to improve well-being, quality of life, chronic pain. It reduces anxiety, stress, depression, helps heal from burnout. It reduces cravings and substance abuse, improves emotion regulation. That sounds pretty amazing and like something worth trying. And in order to do that, we need to know a little bit more about it and understand the 3 main elements of mindfulness. The main elements of mindfulness. When our awareness is mindful, it has 3 qualities, and that is it's focused on the present rather than being stuck in regrets and worries. It's observing rather than judging what's going on, and it accepts experience rather than struggling against reality. Focus on the present means being there in whatever it is you're doing, and you can practice that by bringing your mind back to it. Whenever you see that you're going somewhere else, into the past, into the future, into worries, into regret, bring your mind back to what you're doing right now, what you're feeling right now, inside and outside, what thoughts you're having, what you're seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, feeling with a sense of touch. This is the secret power of Sherlock Holmes. The reason he can solve all those cases is because he notices things. He's present in what he's doing. And we can harness the power of Sherlock Holmes by practicing being present in whatever it is we're doing. And then we'll be so much better at it and also have more fun doing it. The second element, observing rather than judging, has to do with something called the observing self rather than the thinking self. The thinking self is when we are fused with our thoughts, when we forget that our mind is showing us a movie and we become so immersed in that movie that we forget we're watching a movie, when we take our own thoughts as an accurate depiction of reality. That's the thinking self. And the observing self takes a step back and notices not only what's going on, but also what's going on in the mind, how the mind is reacting to whatever is going on. And the observing self is not fused with the mind. The observing self can see thoughts for what they are, as thoughts that are not always true and that are not an accurate depiction of reality. Mindfulness doesn't mean thoughts go away. That's a common misunderstanding. It means that we can see thoughts for what they are, thoughts. That sounds pretty easy, and it is. The challenge is to remain aware of that constantly. For example, let's say someone has a job interview, and right before the job interview, they have the thought, I am very bad at job interviews. I always mess them up. And then they might have the thought, why am I having this thought? This is unhelpful. I shouldn't be thinking like this. And like that, they are wrapped up and fused with their thoughts. And if they really enter that job interview believing this thought that I'm bad at job interviews, taking it as an accurate depiction of reality, forgetting that it's just a movie, they will act differently in that job interview. They'll probably be tense, defensive, and reactive. And it'll be really hard for them to be open, calm, proactive, which they can be if they defuse from that thought, if they just observe that thought, I'm bad at job interviews, and they step out of the thinking self into the observing self, see that thought and see it for what it is, a thought. Okay, I'm having the thought that I'm bad at job interviews. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. This is not the time to think about that. Thanks for that thought, mind, and I release this thought back to the storehouse of thoughts. And the last element of mindfulness is accepting rather than struggling against reality. This has to do with how we relate to unpleasant feelings and sensations, discomfort, pain, struggle, and suffering. And to make it simple, there's two ways of reacting. One way is to fight discomfort, to try to push it out of our awareness and try to get rid of it, which makes us tense, which costs energy, this struggle. And the other way is to let it be there, to allow discomfort to be there, the discomfort that we can't avoid. I have a whole video on this part of mindfulness because it's paradox and requires a more elaborate explanation. I will link that video up here. And if this video has made you curious to try mindfulness, you can start right now after watching this video by practicing these 3 elements in whatever it is you're doing, by bringing your mind back to the present moment, by stepping into the observing self, and by accepting reality. If you want to take it a step further, you can also practice mindfulness by taking extra time for that. And you can use an app or find a YouTube video or some form of instruction for a guided mindfulness meditation. They have many different lengths, and there's hundreds of ways of practicing mindfulness in your daily activities and by making extra time for it. So if you really want to practice it, but you can't connect to some of the ways it's being practiced, don't worry. There's hundreds of other ways you can practice. So keep looking until you found what works for you. Thanks for watching this video. And if you're new here, like always, you're very welcome to join the Self-Leadership Experts community by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. I'd love to see you here again in the future. Till next time, take care and stay mindful.